Stop. Before you do anything else, I don't even need you to finish this video. What I need from you is to get off this video, click off, go take your phone, call someone, reach out to someone, send them a message saying, "Hi, how are you doing? I hope you're okay. I am here as a friend for you." Just send some words of encouragement to someone that you know who might be struggling, who might need that word of reassurance to give them a brighter outlook on life, to say, "I'm going through this trauma or this struggle right now, but tomorrow will be a brighter day. Someone remembers me." That can be all it takes for you to change the trajectory of someone's life. Of recent, you before I even continue, please, as I said, click off, go call that person, send them a message. I would like for you to finish this video to hear what I have to say, but I would prefer if you do reach out to someone and spend the time that you would have on this video on the call or messaging someone or multiple person, that is. So do that and you can just come back afterwards. I'm gonna always be here. So of recent, Jamaica has been experiencing an increase in unaliving events by teenagers at most. Since the year started, I think we've had 3 reports of teenagers that have taken themselves from us and from this world. And it's something that we really have to look into more seriously, especially with the close proximity to these incidences. We've had those teenagers as well with the recent Miss Universe contestant. Thank you for going ahead and making that call, sending that message, reaching out to that person that you know would need that contact at this point in time. Thank you for coming back to watching this video to finish hearing what I have to say and to see how best we as Jamaicans can help fix this, not really fix, but assist in preventing any more incidents from happening. So far this year, as I said, we have 3 young men who have taken themselves from this world. Unfortunately, my deepest condolences and sympathies goes out to these families, because it's hard to imagine what could I have done to stop this from happening. What could I have said? What could I have given that person to stop them from doing what they have done? And maybe in some instances there's nothing you could have done, but there's also instances where a simple act of kindness or a simple word of reassurance or a simple hug or a simple kiss on the cheek to say, "My child, I am here for you. I will always be here for you. Any issues you may have in this life, you can always come to me. I'm gonna be the one to take on any problems that you have, and I will carry that problem with you." Just those simple words sometimes, I believe, could change the trajectory of some of these young men's lives. First, I'd like to discuss the case of Twain Jaheim Hines, a 13-year-old from the quiet district of Bugs Bunny in Trelawney. He was just 13 years old. I don't know if you understand the level that we're at with this. 13. He just made it to his teen years. He just started his teen years, a second form student at his high school. And according to the reports and the reports from the Gleaner, reports from many media sources, he locked himself in his bathroom and committed the act after being punished for coming home late. This isn't something that is uncommon in Jamaican societies. You come home late from school, you get in trouble because there's an expected time for you to leave school, get home, because you may have chores to do, you may have your homework to do, and your parents a lot of the time thinks you're idling on the road and you need to get home on time. It's a matter of safety as well. The parents don't want their child out on the road too late in the evenings. Anything can happen. So many children in Jamaica do get punished for getting home late. So I wouldn't say this is a one-off case where this never happens to children, but this is something that's common. But I don't think what the parents may not have realized was that, and I can't even blame them in this, we can't blame anyone in this tragic event, because we don't know what he was going through and what type of feelings he was coming home with. He may have been coming home late and something may have happened at school why he came home late. According to reports that I've read, I haven't seen anything to that extent, so I don't know if we should speak or assume what might have happened. But he locked himself in that bathroom and he took himself from us, from this world, because of that punishment. Again, this is not a punishment that's uncommon, so I wouldn't say this punishment might have been the cause for it, but it may have been the cause. It may have been the last, like the last drip of water before the cup overflows for him. And unfortunately, he's no longer with us. Deep condolences to his family. And I think what we need to understand sometimes is we need to speak to children with, as a Jamaican society, we really don't speak to children as they are their own being with their own mind. I think a lot of us think you should be seen or not heard in this society, but we've reached the age where technology is thriving. Children can see what's happening in other spaces in the world, and they may have seen different ways children are being treated, and they expect that and they would like that for themselves. So when things happen or they're going through things, they would like that support. As you as adults as well, if you're going through a serious situation, you would like that support. Condolences to the families again for Twain. I'm sorry if I said his name wrong. I hope he's flying high and at peace. So just a little brief before we continue. September the 10th is usually celebrated as, not really celebrated, but the day picked to shed more light on this issue. And the theme for the 2024 to 2026 is change the narrative on side. They have with a powerful call to action, start the conversation. This is from nationalhealthfund.org. The goal is to break down the stigma and open a conversation that can lead to understanding and support for those who need it most. And I think that's what we need to do. The main thing, start the conversation, start speaking with our loved ones, give them a hug. You're in your home, give your brother a hug, give your sister a hug. I love you. Give them a little kiss on their cheek or something if you're comfortable with that. Just reach out to your friends as well. You don't know what they might be going through. Everyone has busy schedules, things happening in their lives, and we don't know what might be happening to the happiest of persons. The person that's always jovial, maybe the person that is the one that might leave the world in such a tragic way. I think the theme is something that we can all thrive to. We can all thrive to achieve in this time to prevent anything or any more incidents like this from happening. Now, mental health awareness in Jamaica, I think it's not something that's talked about enough, or it is talked about in media, or it's talked about in universities, and it's being talked about more actually. So I wouldn't say it's not being talked about, but not a lot of people are aware of the signs of mental issues. Not really mental issues to say that you belong at Bellevue in that sense, but trauma, anxiety, depression, those type of mental issues that they don't seem to affect your life immediately, but over time can really break you down. As I think the next incident that really hit for me, that this is something that's really picking up speed and shouldn't, is the case of Kishane from Knox College. He was 15 years old. So again, a very much young man, and he got the news from the secretary in the school, apparently due to news sources, that he would be repeating grade 9. And I think for a lot of students that may be something tragic, something that is something that's tragic, because you're expecting to continue with your peers, to hear that you have to stay back, and there's a stigma in Jamaica when it comes to being held back a grade, especially if you're in primary school as well. I I think it happens in high school, but not as much as it would have in primary school. A lot of students would stay back another year in sixth grade just so that they could get a better grade to pass for a more prestigious high schools in more prestigious high school in Jamaica. If you're not from here and you're watching this video, high schools would be like universities in the US, I'd say, because high schools are, we're very, I can't say patriotic, but school spirit orientated when it comes to high school, not as much as universities, because we don't have as much universities as we do high school. So high schools is where it's at. So there's this stigma because you may be bullied for it. You say you're dunce. You're dunce meaning basically you're uneducated, you're illiterate, you can't you're dunce. How would I explain? Yeah, you're illiterate, you're uneducated, you weren't capable of passing simple subjects just so you could move forward in a grade. So that stigma, I think, really played a part, may have played a part in this. I'm not sure a cause for him doing something like this, and he would never be. I think I was so I was so affected by it because of how the sentiment came off. It's like this is the reason that he took his self from this world. And I don't think that's the only reason. That may not have been the only reason. It may I don't in my opinion, mental health, it's not something that's a one time event. Maybe it happens, yes, but if time goes by and it's not treated, that's that may have caused this to happen. I think when he may have gotten that news, it may have been triggering for him, because you imagine you're gonna have to leave all your friends behind. It's the same school, yes, but you're gonna be in a class with students that are coming from a grade below you, and you're supposed to be moving ahead of them. You're older than them. He's thinking to me, have been thinking to himself, he's gonna be 16 and in the same class with these other young students, that and he should have been moving forward to the grade that the grade that he would like to be in. But unfortunately, maybe it's due to academic performances and things like that, which Jamaican high schools really take seriously. So that event, it's a really tragic event that happened, just I wouldn't say just because, but I think it's something that may have happened, something else that may have caused it. Maybe it was just feel, or maybe it's just that one event, that trauma hit him so hard, he was in disbelief to the fact that this is what he has to do. And maybe he didn't have that, or maybe he did. I wouldn't assume, but I'd like to say, if an event like this was to happen to any child and you're a parent out there, say to your child, hey, sometimes it's good to be held back. You get experiences, you speak to them on the positives of it, but you also address the negative of the situation. You don't just leave the negative for them to think on it themselves. So I think, in my opinion, that's what, if something else like this were to happen to a student, parents need to be there to say, okay, I see what have happened, and it's okay. We will try harder next year. I'll be there for you. I'll help you with this homework. I will make sure that you go through and that you are able to move on to your other grade. And don't I know your friends and you speak to them about these issues. I'd like to speak on the 16-year-old from Homewood Technical High School, that for now it's a suspect, as it happened just a few days ago. And I'm so heartbroken by this fact that it's been three very young students. Um, it's very much heartbreaking. So according to CBM TV, in the reports that they've made, he was bullied. He may have been bullied, and this may have been the cause for him taking himself from the world and from us. And it's just so wild to think about. So far, three young men have taken themselves from the world, from us. And you hear the number three and you think, Oh, three. It's just three. No, three is in the sense of counting human beings. Three is a large number. You're not counting apples or counting dirt. You're counting young men who had lives to live, many years left to live, and unfortunately, they are no longer with us. They're with the Lord, and we just, because this is such a recent case, I wouldn't like to speak too much on it. I just like to say my sympathies goes out to the family and my condolences. For those out there who have young men in your household, teenage boys, I think we need to treat with them with a little bit more caution. I don't think boys alone, also your young ladies, treat with them a little bit more caution to say, how are you doing? Ask them when they come from school, how was school today? You don't know if that simple interest, that simple touch of interest will say, oh yeah, it was good, or it wasn't good, it was bad. Maybe you ask them every single day, and every day they come home and tell you, it good, it good, it good, it good, all right. But then one day you ask that question and they say, I've really been struggling. And they wouldn't have had that confidence to come to you and say, I've really been struggling, had you not been consistently asking them, how are you doing? How was school today? So I think we need to do that. I'd like to speak on the unfortunate case. I think all the cases are unfortunate. I shouldn't have said just hers. But the young woman that passed away recently, Miss Tyra, the Miss Jamaica Universe contestant. I think I wouldn't like to speak much on her case, but so my sympathies goes to the family, and the same thing for persons who, you know, I've heard so far from social media, I've seen persons saying that she was online saying all these things that sounded like she was reaching for help. And maybe many persons are saying no one was there for her. We don't know that. Maybe someone was actually there for her, reaching out to her to say, hey, what's up? How are you doing? But maybe that was not the person that she needed in that moment. Maybe it was someone else that she needed to reach out to her. So I think sometimes it's not just who, it's not just reaching out alone. That might help, yes, but it's who is reaching out. Is it the person that they need in that moment? And you may just be the person that they need, even if they don't think they need you. According to the World Health Organization, and these are death reports for Jamaica in 2019, we have a 1.69 suicide mortality rate per 100,000 population, and it has been worsening since 2018. These are the 2019 reports, but if I don't think it's getting better, because that would mean that our mortality rates have increased based on how many I've discussed thus far for this year. We need to try everything possible that we can to change the trajectory of this. Let it be reduced no matter what. We don't have the highest suicide rates. I think we have one of the lowest in the world, which is something to, I'd say, applaud ourselves for, but we need to keep it that way so that no more incidents like this ever reoccur or can ever take foothold in our nation. I'd like to encourage everyone that tuned into this video and you've completed the first task, you reached out to someone and then you came back to finish this video, to send this message to anyone. Just send it out to anyone that you know that might need to learn about what's happening in Jamaica when it comes to these recent incidences, as well as provide them with, or you can just provide them with the Jamaica Mental Health and Prevention Helpline, which is 888-639-5433. That is Jamaica Mental Health and Suicide Prevention Helpline, 888-639-5433. Encourage them to reach out to that helpline if they're ever facing any difficulties and they don't feel comfortable reaching out to anyone in their environs. Thank you for watching this video, and we need to continue to build our society so that we can have a much stronger, greater Jamaica.